Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Karsten Miller here, coming to you with a YouTube clip, James chapter 1, Doers of the Word. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube clip. Keep me in your prayers. I am just going through some things, and I just covet your prayers. If I haven't called some of you guys that may listen or talk to you in a while, it's been pretty busy around here, and as well I've been going through some things here and working some things out with my family. So let's get into this. See where we stopped last time. Well, okay, so last time we were on discussing the 3 marks of true Christianity or sane Christian living. Number 1, we did the first mark was his religion is pure. This is the sane Christian. The one that James is describing is true Christianity. The sane Christian, his religion is pure. It's the positive side of sane Christianity. Number 2, this religion is undefiled. This is the negative side of sane Christianity. So finally we come down today. We go leave the adjectives of undefiled and pure, and today we will look at how pure and undefiled religion is under the sight of God and the Father. Sanity is viewed by a sane God. Look at Luke chapter 1 verses 5 through 6. It says, "There was in the days of Herod the king of Judea a certain priest named Zacharias, and of the course of Abia, and his wife was the daughter of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless." See? Sanity viewed by a sane God. It's before him. They were righteous before God. This leads to number 3, the third mark. His religion is under the sight of God. The one your sanity is before. Now, the word is before in the King James version of verse 27 of James chapter 1, and it's in the sight of in the NASB. This word is transliterated para, and it means beside, in the sight of, above, against, among. This preposition is used in the context of beside, basically of juxtaposition. With a dative noun, it means beside and at, with, in an estimation of. A.T. Robertson says, in the sight of para is literally beside, and so in the presence of God. Robinson says by the side of para, and so from God's standpoint. You can look at Mark 10 verse 27. This word is also used in Romans chapter 2 verse 13 when it's talking about the doers of the law are just beside our God. Also in 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 11, the angels don't bring railing accusations beside the Lord. So see, the Christian sanity is in the sight of a holy God. You in God's presence. Okay, excuse me, I'm reading that wrong. You're in God's presence. So the way you live as a Christian is standing right there before the eyes of the Lord. Now, you can do something with the comparison from verse 26, where that person is thinking that they're religious. They're doing all this outward religion. Why? For the sight of men. See, a real sane Christian is in the sight of God. Remember how we talked about on one of the clips how a true Christian, his desire is to do what? Please the Lord. That's why he's always going to be referring to the Scripture and the Scripture alone. He's not going to be referring, well, this said this, and God said to me this in a dream. No, he's not going to be going there. He's going to go to the scripture because he knows that's where I can trust Jesus Christ at. That's where it says how to please God. Because what? It's in his sight. See, Professor James is showing us that sane religion grabs God's attention. Now, an example of this would be, I watch every day my children. In other words, when I see them, they're in my care. In the same way, the Lord observes us when we are before him. See, I know what my kids are doing. I know what they're doing. If I'm not home, I know what they're doing. How? My wife is here taking care of them. I know what's going on in their lives. I know what they're saying and who they're saying it to. Now, there will come a time where I won't be able to see it, but I'll know because they grab my attention. So I'm aware and observing their behavior. So what are some of the things that take place before a sane God or in the sight of a sane God? Number one, he hears our cries in his sight. It says in Psalm 34 verse 15, the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their ears. In God's sight, he hears your prayers. Remember in John 9, he says the sinner he will not hear, but who will he hear? Yes, God hears your cries in his seat. This is why you need Jesus Christ. Because if you have Christ, you know that God hears you. Look at 1 John chapter 5. You can have confidence in that. God is hearing me. He's watching me. He's hearing my cry. That's why, Lord, is the situation going to work out? He hears your cry. He's aware of it. It's in his sight. We see this first with Abel's blood. And it said in Genesis chapter 4 verses 9 through 10, and the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? Now God knew where he was. God knew what happened. Listen, and he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Listen to what God said. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood does what? Crieth unto me from the ground. God heard the cry. It was before him. See, Abel was what? Before him. In his sight. Beside him. Number two. The thing that takes place before or beside a sane God is he disciplines and chastises the sane Christian. Proverbs 3 verses 11 through 12 says, my son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as the father the son in whom he delighteth. Listen to me. If God is not disciplining you, hasn't disciplined you for anything, and I'm not talking about what you feel, but he hasn't changed your mind about sin, wonder is he your father? See, because we like to say, oh, God, yeah, disciplined me. He whooped me. He whooped you. Is your mind changed? Because if he has to correct you, he wants your mind to change. Why? You're in his sight. He's observing what you do. See, the issue that I'm facing right now has to deal with the way that I discipline my son. And I had to go to this person and address what they were doing before, the discipline of my son. And when I discipline my son, I'm saying to him, look, change your mind about what you're doing because you're wrong. You're in sin and you need to get it right. You fathers out there, discipline your sons. Discipline your sons. If you see them in sin, discipline them. Chastise them. Do it. Do it. Okay. Revelation